great Atlantic Ocean. Such a beautiful place. Oh, hey kids! How you doing? Oh, I didn't know you were here. Come here, let me show you something. Just taking a look at the old Atlantic Ocean. Sometimes I come out here on the rocks and just imagine what it was like. Those first voyagers to come to these shores. The great wilderness, not knowing where they were. Of course, after a while they figured it out. And before you know it, they start trading with this area, finding all the rich resources that we have. Now, summer resort. Back then, after 30, 40 days on the sea, you'd come to these shores and start stocking up. Before you know it, that Mediterranean trade turned to Atlantic trade. And the English, Spanish, the French dominated, as did the Dutch. But in regards to the Industrial Revolution, I'd like you to keep in mind that the shift in that trade meant that there were a burst of economic activity, and as a result, a lot of consumer goods were available that never were before, because wealth was being produced in such a way that it was beyond feudalism. It was trade. Lots of commodities, sugar, tobacco, and then eventually cotton. Of course, we want to remember that with that type of trade and with the type of agricultural commodities and the plantations that they developed required slave labor. And it wasn't long before slaves were imported and the slave trade grew, and the economic boom did grow on the backs of African slavery. And that's a horrific piece of historical relevancy. But in regards to the Industrial Revolution, it said that when the shipping really increased, the amount of ships, sailors, masts, rope, sail fabric, all of that stuff required production at a level never before sought after. And people started to figure out ways to mass produce those goods. Not mass produce in such a way that you and I would recognize in a modern factory, but mass produce in an artisanal way with lots of laborers making lots of goods. And that in itself may have led to the type of mechanization of industrial production that is the heart of the 19th century Industrial Revolution. But its seeds were sown in the Atlantic trade. And as you first start reassessing and looking at the assignment that I gave you earlier this year about the early part of the Industrial Revolution, you'll note an invention, the steam engine. The steam engine was and is a mode of production that doesn't require human, animal, or in a sense, natural energy. Okay? Yes, the coal is natural, but the fire turns the pistons, which then in turn turn the machinery. And prior to that, any type of energy that you wanted to harness for production was wind, water, human, or animal. And those things cannot go 24/7, but an engine can. That really changes the game. At any rate, just wanted you to consider the fact that the heart, the essence of industrialism, lies in the growth of trade that we saw grow out of the age of discovery. And that age of trade, the move to the Atlantic trade, meant a very different world for Europe and eventually all of us. I think I'll just gander out here for a while. Have a great day.